I want to read a passage from the third book of the Journals of Kevin Murphy, which is called Eagle from the Dawn. And Eagle from the Dawn is the English translation of the horse's name, Kevin's horse, Tiplayana Kaupu. And in this passage, Kevin has let the horse go, unintentionally, but anyway, he's let him go. And he's so grieved that he just can't get over it. And he's with his best friend, Peter Taksu, a Nez Perce, and they go into Peter's cousin's sweathouse, and the Nez Perce sweathouse is a place of healing. That night, alone in my room at Drew's house, I fell into a deep sleep. It seemed to me that the wind was blowing, and I arose to shut my window. As I looked out over the meadow, I saw the windswept mountain where I had left my horse. Suddenly, Tiplayana appeared on the crest of a hill, alone. He reared up and whinnied. I reached out toward him and called his name, but he galloped away. The wind lashed all around me. I have never felt so powerless or so alone as I did at that moment. It was as though I were completely isolated, enclosed by some invisible shield that kept me from touching or being comforted by the other creatures in the universe. By the third time we went to the sweat house, I had already started to get used to it. It relaxed me to sit back and listen to Peter and Drew telling stories. They asked nothing of me. They left me alone. They were good friends to me because even though they didn't speak to me, they were there for me. That afternoon, Drew told us about his dog, a pit bull he had had in his early 20s. He used to let it run wild because he lived in the country. That dog had so many offspring, nobody could count them, Drew laughed. He got into everybody's yard, and he was brave. One crazy guy came after him with a shotgun because seeing my dog on his property made him mad. That dog bared his teeth and rushed the guy so hard he dropped his gun, raced back to the house, and bolted the door. How do you know that? I asked. This was the first time I had uttered a word in the sweathouse. Drew answered as though nothing unusual had happened. My cousin had gone up there to help that guy mend fences. He saw the whole thing and told me about it. You can imagine how I felt when that dog died. I guess I identified with him. He did all the things that I wanted to do at that age, but didn't dare. When he died, it was like part of me died along with him. The part of me that yearned for independence and freedom, the rebel in me. Later, I got married and had kids. Don't get me wrong, I'll always love that dog. He taught me a lot, but my wife and kids are really something special. I didn't say anything more that day, but Drew's story about his dog made me think. I began to wonder exactly what I had loved the most about Tiplayana. A magnificent, powerful, free spirit, he also had been deeply loving. In responding to the tremendous affection he showed me, I had never consciously considered how fiercely independent he might be. I really couldn't blame him for the pain I felt at losing him now. I had put myself in the way by trying to be a father to him when he didn't even need a parent. Peter had told me what to do, just step back and let go. Such a simple act, yet so hard. Peter and Drew had tried to show me that everything has its season. It comes to us when we need it. It leaves when we are ready for something else, something better. But at that moment, I couldn't imagine anything better than my horse. Did I identify with Tiplayana the way Drew had identified with his dog? Skinny and powerless, I hardly compared with my horse. And yet, his independence rubbed off on me, as though being with him were the same as being like him. How I had admired his rebelliousness. I had always been such a goody two-shoes. I hated that about myself. I envied Tiplayana's certainty. He seemed to know exactly what he had been sent here to do with his life, and he pursued it as soon as he got the chance. I had never been able to do that. I had always worried what other people might think of me. When it came to going away to college, I swallowed hard and chose the school that made my parents smile with pride. Of course, at Berkeley, I'd be far away from my family. I could be my own person. Obviously, this was my big chance to make a life for myself. Deep down, I knew my father loved me. So how, I wondered, could he have let go of me so easily? I could see him standing in the airport, smiling wistfully as he waved goodbye. And all at once, I realized that he had turned himself inside out to set me free. Alone, I felt scared. I had been holding on to Cipriana for dear life. The fourth afternoon in the sweathouse, I found myself talking about Cipriana. Whereas before, I had always felt protective and anxious, now I spoke only of his freedom and his strength. The more I talked, the more I realized that, like me, Cipriana had come of age. That day we spent hours in the sweathouse. The last time we came out, I saw an eagle flying overhead. It soared above me, hovering for quite a while. Then it flew westward. When I looked over at Peter and Drew, they were very serious. "How do you feel?" Drew asked me. "Much better, thanks to you guys. I feel like a new man." "Don't thank us. Thank the old man. It was the old man who mended your broken heart," Peter said. "The eagle you just saw, that was a sign," Drew told me. "A sign?" "Yes," Drew said. "A sign from the Creator, acknowledging that you had let go of Cipriana Kaupu, and that you had finally agreed to let him continue his journey without your trying to hold on to him." And as a footnote, I should explain that the old man is part of the Nez Perce sweathouse, which, as I think I said before, is a place of healing.